Welcome to Accounting High.
This is a trailer for a podcast. This is a trailer for a podcast.
Let's go down the list of problems we're solving. Things like, I don't know, managing email, having to mail physical things, connecting systems, maybe some data entry.
Let's fix it.
Let's fix it.
Let's find those problems that so many of us share and build shared solutions.
And what would we call this podcast?
Automation Town. Coming to you wherever you get your podcasts. A podcast about regular people
Building solutions to the problems.
we all share. And the human experience.
Oh yeah, and the human experience, of course.
So we're actually just going to talk about email and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just how to automate regular, knowledge-worky things.
And specific problems.
But not so much about the specific tools.
The how to solve our most common problems.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool?
Cool.
Cool.
Automation Town.
Grow marketing. It's Thursday. We gon' advertise and chat on Thursday. At Accounting High and Branding Talk is Thursday. And we gon' help you social post so you're in first place. It's time for social studies, accounting, content hub, LinkedIn marketing, or X. So come join our social club. Is it Twitter? Is it X? Shit, now I can't keep up. So comment, follow, love. If you into social studies, it's time for social studies, accounting, content hub, LinkedIn marketing, or X. So come join our social club. Is it Twitter? Is it X? Shit, now I can't keep up. So comment, follow, love. If you into social studies. Welcome back, Accounting High. Now it's time for social studies. We'll teach you new creative ways to market old product. Move beyond basics with Graf and Stats. Some studs you love. Position like Lorilyn and you'll learn it's not all luck. Oh wait, now it all changed. SEO down, IG up. ICX, Meta, TikTok, hey LinkedIn, Roman V up. If you watch how they post, you'll see it's all authentic and genuine. Grow a following and don't get held back by perfection. Be intentional online, create content. Now that's hot. Strategy is key with social media and pods. Start slow, pick up platform, stick to it and go post. Make a plan to engage with client watering holes. Create a focus brand, be a lead online. It's a digital world with the best ROI. Now create your own ideal client persona. Let's go. Keyword Accounting High and get ready to blow. It's time for social studies, accounting, content hub, LinkedIn marketing, or X. So come join our social club. Is it Twitter? Is it X? Shit, now I can't keep up. So comment, follow, love. If you into social studies, it's time for social studies, accounting, content hub, LinkedIn marketing, or X. So come join our social club. Is it Twitter? Is it X? Shit, now I can't keep up. So comment, follow, love. If you into social studies. Follow this show, stay in the know. Thought lead online through networking. Like, share, repost, subscribe, YouTube, comment, engage, create, find your way.
Introducing the star of our show.
Jason Stats and Scott Scarano.
We're gonna have a problem here.
What's up, Stats?
Hello.
StaatSnacks.
Pretty cringy, but maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
Cringe-worthy. Most of the stuff I do is cringy, though. StaatSnacks. You got so many things that you could run off of your last name, and you always go by Jason. It's like Jason.CPA. You got the perfect last name for fun puns and different like hashtags.
You know what? Like, I always thought it was cool. My last name was Stats. I have a statistics class in high school. Like, my whole life had been building to this, right?
Yeah.
We do roll call on the first day. They're going through all the names. And my last name's S, so I'm towards the end. And I'm like, my whole life's been building to this. Like, they're going to love it. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. Jason Stats. I'm like, yeah, here, you like look around like, yep, that's me. Right to the next person. Just straight past
Did it deflate?
the whole, I mean, like nobody even noticed. The whole semester, nobody said a thing.
That's interesting.
So like, I thought it was interesting, but who knows? Evidently, it wasn't as cool for everybody else.
Well, that's a psychological thing where it hits you then, and it's like, you know what? I can't lean into this because it's not that big of a deal, right? Like I don't know. I do all those kind of things in my head too, where you build something up, and then poof, and then you feel deflated, and then you don't even mention it to anybody because it's not that cool anymore. It's not even. Yeah, I get it.
You can't be the only one impressed with your own name. Like it's not a good look.
It's not a good look. And I do this. I do that too. Not like just my name, but it's like the S's. Like I love the alliteration, the S squared and all that. Because my mom had the foresight to name me Scott and then the Scarano,
okay.
So that's, and then I see Scott Scharf, and we got pretty much the same first two letters of our first and last name. And it's like, to him, it's no big deal. Like he just plays it off. Right. So I thought that was kind of fun. Yeah. But I think you should go back to leaning in on it with stats. Like it just leans into like the S could be another word and you could just reuse it. Like I was going to, StaatSnacks. That's I know you don't like it, but I think it's Staats Stats.
I think
you could do sass in there. It's like sass stats. Like there's just you got the 2 A's. There's a lot of fun with that.
I think StaatSnacks is my favorite just because it's like, I think the fact that it is super cringy is what makes it really good.
Oh yeah, that's most of the I do is cringy. I'm wearing a chain with an S on it. Like really, like it's I'm very aware that this is silly, but it's only a $50 one. I'm definitely going to spend some money on a real chain, but that'll be $$sign. So I'll have 2 chains.
Oh my gosh,
I'll be 2 chains, and it'll have 2 S's, the $sign and the symbol. So I'm going to be cringeworthy next time you see me in person. Maybe at a conference. You going to any conferences?
I'll be at XeroCon for sure.
Absolutely. I'm taking my team to that. XeroCon, Accounting Web. I just found out I'm doing something there. So I'll be there. San Diego. We're going to go over some numbers here, some hard numbers, some hard data. You've got a following. So let's start with, you are following 169 people. Is that intentional?
Nice. No, it's not.
Because mine is. I'm following 69 people, and mine's intentional.
Mine's. It was not intentional at all. I'll go follow somebody.
So, is your picture in dark mode?
I guess it is dark mode, isn't it? For sure. It's like a dark mode version, but I'm not usually a dark mode guy in like the apps I use for whatever reason.
Really?
Yeah.
So, and I'm all dark mode, all about it. Like I can't, like now it's just like defaults to it on a lot of my Macs. So, and I like it. Like I'm looking at a new app, Digits. Have you heard of it?
No.
Well, this is how I can summarize it. It gives a team talking points to talk to clients about their data. I like it. I like the concept. I found them at Digital.CPA. So that was
I do remember that pre-launch, they had like the fanciest landing page I have ever seen and had like the dark branding. Am I thinking about the right company?
With dark mode, right? That was the lead in. I'm all about branding though. Well, I guess where's your head at? Where's your head at now? Is it YouTube? Twitter? Is that kind of where?
It's a little bit of both. The stuff that gets me really excited right now is YouTube content, but I still feel like my home is Twitter. Like that's where I feel like I build community more than anywhere else still.
Yeah. So whenever I'd ask people, who should I follow on Twitter? What should I do on Twitter? Your name is usually one of the first ones to come up. It's like the household name anywhere in any circle, as long as it's in the accounting world. It's the one that comes up. I remember earlier this year, Adam Markowitz, talking to him, he said something like, I don't know, I can't quote it, but it's like, it's criminal how his following isn't double what it is, or whatever it was. I forgot how he said it, how he put it, but I see you as the Twitter king. So what is Tax Twitter? Can you explain it again to me? I'm on there now.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter, but explain it to me in your words.
I think it's exploded over COVID for a number of reasons. A big one is I think community is a big factor in and mental health, and feeling like you have peers who are going through the same thing you're going through. So there's definitely a lot of, this person understands my struggle. I just got this ridiculous request from a mortgage broker. And these are people that understand that. And so there's like, especially through COVID, there was a lot of commiseration that was honestly, that's really helpful. Because if you feel like you're on an island, like that's a rough spot to be. The other thing that was just a huge force multiplier for that community through COVID was the speed at which all the COVID regulations were changing, and that people were sharing information and sharing what they were figuring out. It was, I don't know how people got through COVID relief without something like what I had from tax Twitter. I mean, they were just like on the bleeding edge of everything. And it's interesting now coming out of COVID, it's grown a ton. And it's not just tax Twitter. It's really more like accounting people on Twitter in general. It's like anything else, social media. I think you can kind of choose what you want to get out of it. The way I use it is I share the stuff that I'm learning. I share the stuff that would have been really helpful to me 3 years ago. And inevitably, you put that out there, 2,000 people see it, 10 or 15 people are going to drop some bombs in their replies that are either disagreeing with you, agreeing with you, or just like adding their own seasoning to the same thing. So when I put something out there, I'm able to come away with a more refined viewpoint on what I put out there through other people's experiences. So there's this element of like, oh, wow, you're giving all of this away. At the end of the day, like you're going to get so much back from people than you're actually giving away.
Sort of like a handoff, right? Like somebody's handing it to you, you're handing it to the next person. It's like scaffolding or just passing it around.
Yeah, but like 1 to 1,000, because it's the people who are still kind of have that mindset of I have more to lose by giving this up than I have to gain. There's an underlying assumption there that you know more than the shared experiences of everyone, which you just don't. You never will. So you will always have more to gain by putting it out there and getting it in return from other people than by just sitting on it. And so like I lurked on Twitter, like I think most people still do, for a couple of years. But yeah, there's so much to gain by sharing that stuff.
Yeah. So tell me about that. Like you bought the accounting firm. Did you always have this mindset when you bought it, when you started doing this, or did that shift at some point?
No, in the past, I was always the guy that was like doing cool stuff in his garage basically, and would never tell anybody about it, which I think is where most people are still. Is
your studio in your garage?
My studio is in like a workshop off my garage. Yes.
Because now you're doing in your garage and everybody sees it.
I never thought about that. That's so true. Yeah. But no, I mean, I've only been on Twitter. Like didn't actively start tweeting until just over a couple of years ago. And it started just as a way of building more of a network, people that were doing the same thing as me. And then COVID kicked off and that whole thing just went.
It gets exponential,
and you become completely reliant on that community to kind of get what's going on.
I think like a year ago, it was about a year ago when we recorded your episode, you maybe had like 1,000 followers. You got 5,000 now. Like that's pretty exponential. I think that's huge. Like people, I don't know. I see these numbers and I don't get it. Do you know 5,000 people?
No, it doesn't mean anything. What matters is engagement. So a high engagement community, small community, is always better than like celebrities. Like most celebrities don't engage on social media. So you'll see they've got a ton of followers. But even a lot of the big traditional names in our profession, go look at the engagement on an AI-CPA post or on like figureheads there who are like posting, blog posts and stuff like that people don't want to consume on Twitter. There's no engagement, but they'll have a bunch of followers. So like, case in point, I launched my private community when I had 750 followers, and that was a paid community, and that we kicked that off with like 70 members or something like that, which just blew the doors off anything I ever expected. But it was because it was a really small, really engaged group of people. And that's where my heart is, I think, is like find the people who like you're so plugged in with.
Oh yeah. I agree 1,000%. So you said you had about 70 when you started Realize. Now it's over 100, right? And it's impactful. Like a lot of people mention that a lot of people that are in it talk about how much they get out of it, or just the value that you give for that community.
Yeah, and I would even say it's not me giving value in that community. Like the whole purpose for me of making a private community is to have a safe space where people can be vulnerable, which is not a public website like Twitter, but still having a pretty high, like reasonably high bar on that, where the people who are coming in are people with experience that are like looking to kind of take that firm to the next level. And I think people just aren't used to like sharing experiences with others going through the same things they're going through. So
Vulnerability. You
get a room full of people where they can feel safe sharing what they're doing. And it's just a massive force multiplier for what you're learning and how you make decisions. And like it changes everything about how you navigate your firm.
Yours started, it's very decentralized kind of started the way you're describing it, started from the ground up, and it's a strong bond. A lot of, like I said, like this industry has always bred you're privileged to get my information. And it's a very top down approach, the partner model, the mindset that's always been around. But it's interesting to kind of see that shift, because you're not going to survive with the top down with that model. You cut the head off and it's done. Right now, strength in numbers, right?
Yes and no. It depends on what you're looking for. I think there's an optimal size for just about anything. So like where high volume things like Twitter are really useful is like when you want a bigger funnel to collect ideas. And this kind of goes without saying, but like the most intimate format for like a mastermind group is like 4 people. You go much beyond that, and there's not really a ton of space for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. So
it's kind of a sliding scale of like the purpose of what you're trying to do. And so that's why like, kind of the mass marketing, like throwing an ad on Kim Kardashian's Instagram, like that's big money stuff, but it's because it hits so many people. Whereas like the opposite end of the spectrum is also super, super powerful, because you've got like a smaller group with a ton of really tight connections. That stuff's more fun for me. So like a version of my private community with 1,000 people, I think doesn't work. It's not to say that it couldn't have value. It would just be a completely different thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of depends on what you're trying to like get to and what you want out of it. But there is value in all of those things. And right now, 99% of our profession has zero community. They're not engaging in anything.
Are you putting a cap on it so it doesn't grow too big? Or is that why you raised prices?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. We'll see. It's fine as it is now. And we organize, private events for things that need to be smaller. So like mastermind groups, we just started another round of mastermind groups that have like 60 firm owners in it. Everybody gets paired with people in kind of similar situations to their own. So like me, I run a firm with 40 people. We do tax and CAS. I can be in a mastermind group with people in a very similar situation to me, so that I'm not like in a mastermind with a new firm owner who just has totally different challenges than I do.
Is it all firm owners, or is it also employees that are?
It's about 95% firm owners.
Okay.
And you've got some team leaders in there who are running teams larger than some of the firm owners. But yeah, there's definitely a crossover point where it gets too big. And so I don't know what we'll do then. What other communities will do is like, maybe then you transition to like tokenize access. So you own something that gives you access to that community, and there's only X number of these tokens in existence. And as long as people value it, they hang on to that. And when they don't, they sell it. So if you ever had to put a ceiling on it, I think you'd probably look at something like that.
So your YouTube videos, I was with Blake Oliver, and we were talking about, how good they are. Right. And I know that you're on Earmark now. Like this is movie production stuff that I'm seeing, or like TV type things when you got the ledgers, right? and you're filming like the sides of them. It's just, there's an art to it as well. How big do you think the audience is out there? Because I would think that those should have more, like a larger, broader audience too. Like it's good stuff. I mean, first, like, I love the art of it. Like, how did you decide to do something like that in particular? I don't know.
So I've always loved like sketch comedy. And so like I do really enjoy just like the bits and creating the silly sort of things that I would really enjoy watching.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of it comes from, is like the comedy writing. I enjoy stuff like that. But there's an element of like creativity and stuff too. So like I have a full-time editor, but the editor's not shooting anything. They're not like designing the set. You're not
shooting that stuff though. Like
yeah, that's all me by myself. Yeah.
So you have a vision for it. Do you write this stuff out, or do you just kind of do it and then see what works?
I script it out shot by shot. So like some of the higher effort videos. So like when Intuit acquired Mailchimp, like that was one of our kind of like high watermark. That had like 4 acts, and they're all in different places. Did you buy that
jacket? Was that the one with the birds?
Was that like a duck pond?
Yeah. Did you buy that jacket just to match the other guy?
No. I had that jacket though, and that was perfect. Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, and then it's just like stock video off of Storyblocks or something. But
you even had the you had the bread
like
that you like brought in. Yeah.
But no, like I enjoy scripting that stuff. Honestly, I love that it's super niche, that there's not that many people onto it, because it is way overproduced for our tiny little corner of the internet. It is. And like, that's kind of why I enjoy it, is there's a bit of like absurdity to it, because it's like, it's higher production level than like a lot of mainstream like software companies will do and stuff like that. But it's kind of like, I would absolutely love this if I'm on the other side of it. I love working with accounting professionals and all of that. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like a way for me to give back, because I've gotten so much from other people I've worked with. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of a fun way to like add some excitement to our space where it really needs.
So drawing a parallel to Drew Carrick, right? He's now working for Flowcast at Flowcast Studios, and he's got I think he's got a career in the entertainment side of it, as well as bridging both sides of the brain, right? The creative side and the analytical side.
Yeah,
there's a big opportunity for you to do something like that, I would think. Is that something that you would entertain? Let's say they say they see your videos, you know, they want to hire you. Is that something that you would do?
I don't know. It would depend on like, could I give up running a firm? And right now I don't know that I could. Like, I enjoy that side of it a lot.
It's the analytical and the creative, right? Like you're balancing both worlds.
Yeah. And I don't like, it's more like the human side and like building the team and attracting the talent and like mentoring people. So like I enjoy that. I don't do virtually any of the client facing.
It's like the emotional side. That's it, right? Like that's another.
So as I'm having fun with all the content now, it's one thing to have fun with it in a room in your house by yourself. It's another thing to like have fun with it on like a full set with a bunch of people. But like, I don't know. I've got no idea. I just produced 2 ads for Zapier that are like airing nationally on YouTube, pre-rolls everywhere. I'm doing some video production like outside of our space, just to kind of like see what's fun and what sticks.
How did you go about doing that, or deciding, yeah, this is something that I'll do? Like, hadn't a lot of people have probably asked you to do ads?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It seemed like a different, like fun, creative challenge. So I don't know if you're familiar with Sandwich Video out of Lisagor. They do pretty much every notable like SaaS company has launched with a commercial from Sandwich. So like you'll go back through them and you'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. But like virtually every notable SaaS brand has launched with a Sandwich video. So they are the kings of commercials for software companies. And I chatted with Adam a bit, and he was like, it was really interesting, kind of picked his brain. And he was at a similar place to me about 10 years ago, where he kind of like stumbled into this and found that he really enjoyed it. And he basically said like, yeah, give it a try, like do a few and see if you actually like it. And so I think video is really hot right now. The SaaS space is so saturated that it's very hard to differentiate yourself from any old landing page that somebody could spin up for $10. Mm-hmm. And so like giving your brand an identity has never been more important, and video right now is the in vogue way to do that. Like a funny, clever, landing page video to like give personality to your product. So big appetite for that stuff right now. My original like launch for accountants set was designed after the Webflow University set, which is like the high watermark for these software company videos. So I don't know. It's something I have fun with. It's like a way of scratching that creative itch that a lot of times the firm doesn't really like let you do.
I know that all too well. That's it. Why I have a podcast. I'm more about the theater of the mind.
But like Drew is a great example. So I think we're seeing like hypersaturation of streaming and TV content. And the next version of that very clearly is simply more niche content. So you've got your mass market content that everybody watches. But I mean, you saw how much PBC resonated with people because it's a bunch of like inside baseball, like, oh my gosh, yes, I can relate to that. Like people were jacked about it, right?
That's why he was on set. Yeah, that's.
So I think that's definitely a future kind of aspect of entertainment, and really interesting that it's a software company of all things financing it as a really like roundabout lead for what they do.
Were you working with Sandwich?
No, I wasn't working with Sandwich. They have worked with Sandwich before. The difference is about $500,000 in them doing it for them versus me doing it for them.
Yeah.
Because they're either like, cream of the crop, whereas Zapier right now is they're like testing a bunch of different formats for what's going to convert best for their YouTube ads. And I actually saw the video I did with Adam Markowitz, and that featured like a side-by-side of me talking while on screen building his app. And they're like, hey, we love this format. Like, let's just do a couple ads in this format and see how it goes.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations for that. I think that's so dope. So I appreciate you doing this today. How do you divvy up your time?
It's a little bit seasonal. This is like the year end is the heaviest like firm time for me because we're going through a lot of renewals. My involvement is not in the day-to-day client work, but in managing the engagements, helping develop staff to manage those engagements, and kind of the overall arc of the firm and how we're being strategic about our services, that sort of thing. So a lot of that going on, but I usually will take, usually every other week, I'll shoot 4 to 6 videos in a day, and that kind of feeds the YouTube machine for 3 or 4 weeks. And in the meantime, I'm like writing, what those videos are going to be, like jotting down like ideas for bits, working with the editor on like, are there interesting visual things we can do to like make something more funny or more engaging or something like that. So it's honestly a lot more writing than it is like sitting down in front of the camera, which is pretty quick.
Well, you got to have a lot of patience for that too. Patience and I guess perspective on what it's going to look like, and planning. So there's 3 P's for you, right? PPP.
Yeah.
Perspective and planning.
And it's so 2 years ago, I had never made a single video. I had never touched that stuff. But it's the sort of thing where like, if you're going to do it, you just got to start doing it and be okay being bad at it. Because people see that stuff now and they're like, wow, this is like, I'm never going to start because I'm never going to get to this. But like, more important than trying to make a really cool looking thing is being willing to be really bad at something, even if nobody ever watches it.
I know all too well. If it's listened to it or a podcast, it's terrible early on. I think it's getting a little better, but
yeah, that's the necessary step to ever be good at anything. So the way our culture works now, everybody goes home and consumes a feed of people who have honed their craft for like years and years and years and years. And that's all you ever see. It's reinforcing this complex of people being afraid of vulnerability and not being willing to start new things, because all you ever see is what filtered to the top of the algorithm, like the exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between those people and most people is the confidence to suck at something and be willing to try that and like stick with
shamelessness or yeah. No, that's awesome. Like, so you said you hadn't done this, 2 years prior. Did you ever have an itch to do this early on, like a younger Stats, a younger Jason? Did he want to do, some form of entertainment at any point in your life?
Not really. I always enjoyed comedy. Like I was always like the to a degree, the funny guy. Never would have explored like stand up. I was not a theater guy. I was not like I wasn't in like the video crew in high school that was like interested in movies and stuff like that. That was never me. I think what I've stumbled into is just our profession is really funny in a lot of ways, especially through the lens of like people our age who see the other side of it.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like shooting fish in a barrel sometimes. And so it's like,
yeah, it's easy because everybody's so stodgy or like, afraid to make a joke too, or just like, too professional almost.
Yep. And so there's some of that stuff that's just dying to be created. And like, I think it was that more than anything else, like I had to put it out there.
Yeah. I could relate to that. Like in high school, I played football and stuff. I wish I did the drama and the theater type things. I ended up veering off while I was in college. I ended up doing screenplays and screenwriting.
Oh,
never did too much with that, but I was at Carolina for accounting, for business. And then I dropped that major, shifted to communications, got kicked out, then went back to accounting after at a different school. It was safe. It was stable. It was a profession that this is something that's pretty predictable. You can make money, especially if you're good at that stuff. Because not everybody's good at what we do when it comes to the analytical, being able to work with the numbers, like you said before, you got your tax wizards and you got the people that are just good with numbers, but then also people that are good with people. So to be able to bridge that, it's very few out of 10 people that you hire. 4 out of the 40 people you have, there's probably only 4 in there that would be capable of doing what you do,
Yeah. But that's where you find a lot of the most interesting stuff is like crossovers of totally different domains. I'm a big advocate for skill stacking. So I think most people dive deeper into their existing technical expertise their entire lives when I think there's actually diminishing returns to be had from that, as opposed to like becoming a great writer or learning public speaking, stuff like that. Because most of the people that we look up to in our profession, we look up to not because they're really good at this technical thing, but because they have this adjacent skill that helps them amplify it. So people look up to me because I can do video really well, not because I'm the best thinker on any specific thing. Like people look up to like those sort of CPE celebrities because they're very persuasive and because their public speaking is really good. It's not their technical skills. And so like oftentimes it's those adjacent things that will make you a better accountant, honestly, even though it's not a technical thing, but like it's going to help you manage clients better. And it's not oftentimes about the technical stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Largely, I'm going to do a remix of a song, make it easy, just remix AT Aliens. I'm going to call it CP Aliens. Right. So just the same Outkast song, but I already know all the lyrics to the regular song. I could rap the whole thing right now, but I want to do the CPA version. Right. So
half of me thinks this is all just one big joke and I'm laughing at it. It's very cringeworthy. The other half wants it to be good and I'm trying really hard. So go easy on me with the criticism. Let me down gently, all right? Shout out to all my CP aliens. You know who you are. Y'all ready? All right. Well, I'm a half Jewish trendsetter in this endeavor, and when I'm on the mic, just listen close because I'm clever. So it's hotter than $1 million cloud firm with low churn. There I go again, talking about myself and track indicators to perform on this platform. And now you're about to see a Southern EA reborn. I said I'm not a public certified accountant. Then they say it's not the tax you pay, but we'll bracket you in. You got mail, send electric, or post date it to the IR service. Because if we file a return that's late, they all get nervous. So go get your pen to sign docs and listen close, bitches. The riches come when you deeply penetrating niches. Scarano got taxed, but I'm here and still alive. A felony for selling cocaine in 2005, and now I thrive. Took a nose dive but didn't go to prison. I said this all before, but I don't think y'all even listen. Now toss your hands in the air and wave them like you're in despair. And if your tax staff quits and you're sick of this shit, then everybody let me hear you say no failure. Now toss your hands in the air and wave them like you're in despair. And if your tax staff quits and you're sick of this shit, then everybody let me hear you say no failure. Fixed asset depreciation, a study called segregation for the property owner and not the loaner. Let me know when it's time for printona. If not, I wait because the future of the profession is gone. If the children of CPAs gonna be a daughter or son, or will they be the smartest regardless of the platform they on? I really feel that if we tweak it might just start to be fun. Or will they run out of funds and grab a PPP loan? They want to consult us on leadership and finding your why. Like Simon Sinek, when you find it, it's a natural high. Land of the Lakers or an acre of the cloud in my sky. Now banker, no mo, can I get relay 5? Now everybody say toss your hands in the air and wave them like you're in despair. And if your tax staff quits and you're sick of this shit, then everybody let me hear you say no failure. Now toss your hands in the air and wave them like you're in despair. And if your tax staff quits and you're sick of this shit, then everybody let me hear you say no failure. Foolish is how I act, but you know I ain't no fool. Thinking about how a podcast about accounting can be cool, like AJ to the ES, cause we adjust the journal entries, and homie, I made it, but I'm not automated. Finally ended client engagements that we tolerated, and now I'm looking at $1 million stock I just traded. Is it debit or credit? Our balance sheet numbers killing you softly. Intro the CP aliens and debit inventory. So sorry as I trade Scarano to Earmark. Find a way to dismantle my anchor and then depart. Then turn the page and everybody's trying to find they spark. AR clerks stay serious even when they fart. A facade of a being hilarious, Shakespeare in high gear. Protect vulnerable PCs but Macs are in the clear. Okay, I wasn't locked away, I got a longer rep in this endeavor. Not low on ambition, so I'm ready to explore and get paid. And wave them like you're in despair. And if your tax staff quits and you're sick of this shit, then everybody let me hear you say no failure. Oh, running out of breath at the end of that one. But
so somebody like me, like that's trying to go on Twitter, like I don't even know if I'm trying too hard. I'm trying to do one tweet a day. What kind of advice would you give for somebody like that?
What are you trying to get out of it?
So I think for me, not on socials, right? Like I've never been active on socials. I've never been involved in that because I've always been afraid. Like I never even lurked either. I was just never on. Like Liz Mason told me, she's like, your Twitter just has a bunch of Waze trips back and like my Waze was connected to Twitter. I didn't even know. I had to clean that out. It was like 8 years of Waze drives. Every trip I made was being posted on Twitter. I didn't even know that. So
Yikes.
Yeah, I know. It's cleaned up now. So I don't know. I honestly, I think it was very, very powerful when I did on New Year's Eve or around then. I posted like the top 5 episodes of the year, and all of a sudden we had a spike of like 700 listens just by I tagged you on there. I tagged like Lorilyn was definitely the #1 listen because big dick energy. Who wouldn't want to listen to that?
Still clickbait. Yep.
That is clickbait. Yeah. So that's and honestly, like I saw the power of that. And I've been slogging through this for a year. So I'm just like, trying to find my place or find my way around this whole universe. But I like the theater of the mind. I like the audio, but I also like the quick little like Twitter stuff. I really like this. And I like the color blue. So what am I trying to get out of it? I don't know. But I only text people with blue, iMessage.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm a weird one about that. Very weird. I only use Xero because I don't like green on QuickBooks. I don't like the green on the messages. Okay. I like money, but oh man, if it's diamonds, I prefer that over green dollars, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, to a degree, it matters what you're trying to get out of it. What I hear from a lot of people, if they're trying to build an audience, is they come out and they start tweeting like into the ether, and there's nobody there, obviously, trying to find community when the community already exists. So for every one time you tweet, especially early days, you ought to be in somebody's replies 10 times, like adding value to a conversation somewhere. That's way more important than here's what I have to say. Like that still does matter, and you should still do that. But even for me, for every one tweet I send out, honestly, and this isn't an exaggeration, I'm replying 10 or 15 times. Like that's where Twitter's happening, is in the replies and in like the discussions.
I've noticed that. Yeah. Tweets. Like, you're always replying to everything, like kind of across the board too. It'll be like Jason liked this or replied to this more so than you even tweet. And that's you giving back too, right? Like you're purposeful. I feel like you're purposeful about it. I'm also like, I'm afraid of going down the doom scrolling of just getting sucked in, and it's already happening to me. Like I go in. Twitter's overwhelmingly positive to me. I'm getting a lot of positive vibes. Everybody talks like how bad social media is, but I see a lot of good out there, and I tend to maybe ignore the bad and focus on the good. So it's not that like it's not like but it's a time suck too. Like priorities, right? So you got to kind of find that balance.
Cool.
So yeah. So I don't know. You got any shout outs? Anybody I should have on as a guest, or anybody I should follow on Twitter? What do you recommend?
Adam Markowitz, you already got him on your radar. Now, have you had Nio yet?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Nio's
her episode was awesome.
Okay.
I got Logan. I loved his videos. His videos cracked me up, man.
So good. So good.
He's got such a dry humor, and like with the Crown Vic, that is hilarious.
Yep. So his regular role, like, your refund's going to be less this year. Nobody cares about those videos. His vlogs, so good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I don't want to care about the tag stuff. He's funny.
No, that guy's hilarious. He's one of the very first people I connected with on Twitter, and we've got kind of an ongoing.
I met him at Engage with
ongoing
you. Like,
feud.
you guys were, I met him for the first time there. I reached out to him on Twitter, and he remembered that. I thought that was cool. But yeah. So yeah,
I got another person for you. You met Sandy Johns, Atlanta. So she runs a firm in Atlanta, and she's going through this 100 days of no code. Always been a super sharp lady on
I
tech.
do know Sandy.
Yeah.
She commented on something. I made a post or something a couple weeks ago. She commented on it. She said she loved it. And then she stopped following me like 2 days later. I don't even know what's up with that. What does following even mean these days?
You can't read in it. Don't read into that stuff. So she, the other day in 30 minutes, whips up a mobile app that she's now working with a client on that is managing like information for like 300 kids in this program. And like, she's getting super into this stuff, and is like one of those people that I think is a great example of how, if you just carve out a little bit of time, you can become a wizard in this stuff and just like multiply what you're capable of. Like, and so like, she's absolutely like, has every excuse in the world to not do this, which is what everybody does. Like, I got to hire a person to go figure this stuff out for me, right? Like, that's what everybody says. She's the one running the show. Everything stops with her. She's learning this stuff herself and doing some unbelievable stuff out of her firm now that you would never expect to come from an accounting firm. And I love that.
I love that too. So, yeah. So thanks for taking the time today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the invite, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
You bet, man. Take care.
Grow marketing. It's Thursday. We gon' advertise and chat on Thursday. At Accounting High and Branding Talk is Thursday. And we gon' help you social post so you're in first place. It's time for social studies, accounting content hub, LinkedIn marketing or X. So come join our social club. Is it Twitter? Is it X? Shit, now I can't keep up. So comment, follow, love. If you into social studies, it's time for social studies, accounting content hub, LinkedIn marketing or X. So come join our social club. Is it Twitter? Is it X? Shit, now I can't keep up. So comment, follow, love. If you into social studies. Welcome back, Accounting High. Now it's time for social studies. We'll teach you new creative ways to market old product. Move beyond basics with Graf and Stats. Some stud you love. Position like Lorilyn and you'll learn it's not all luck. Oh wait, now it all changed. SEO down, IG up. ICX, Meta, TikTok, hey LinkedIn, Roman V up. If you watch how they post, you'll see it's all authentic and genuine. Grow a following and don't get held back by perfection. Be intentional online, create content. Now that's hot. Strategy is key with social media and pods. Start slow, pick up platform, stick to it and go post. Make a plan to engage with client watering holes. Create a focus brand, be a lead online. It's a digital world with the best ROI. Now create your own ideal client persona. Let's go. Keyword Accounting High and get ready to blow. It's time for social studies, accounting content hub, LinkedIn marketing or X. So come join our social club. Is it Twitter? Is it X? Shit, now I can't keep up. So comment, follow, love. If you into social studies, it's time for social studies, accounting content hub, LinkedIn marketing or X. So come join our social club. Is it Twitter? Is it X? Shit, now I can't keep up. So comment, follow, love if you into social studies. Follow this show, stay in the know. Thought lead online through networking. Like, share, repost, subscribe, YouTube, comment, engage, create, find your way.